Oh my goodness, you guys. The way Wendy delivered at the Real Housewives of Potomac reunion part 3, absolutely incredible. Take a look at this clip and then we'll chat.
What does that mean, being Osu?
Well, sis Ashley, you brought it to this platform. What does that mean?
I mean, I would say
No.
Ashley Darby caused the biggest problems of this season of RHOP, the most divisive problems and the most violent problems. So first of all, in the beef between Wendy and Nneka, it was caused by Ashley going to Nneka and asking about this Osu nonsense, and then running back to Wendy, twisting Nneka's words to make it seem as though Nneka accused Wendy of being Osu. She did this on purpose, but of course, per usual, she plays dumb, she plays innocent. So I'm really happy that Wendy gave her the floor to explain what Osu means. Since you want to run around talking about people's cultures and whatnot, accusing people of being X, Y, and Z, making up lies about people, tell us exactly what it is that you're talking about and why you're so obsessed with this subject. What is this Osu stuff that you keep on bringing up, Ashley? Oh, chef's kiss. My jaw was on the floor in a good way when this moment happened. And of course, thirsty ass Nneka tried to step in for Ashley. And it's like, shut up. That is the problem with these newbies when they come on the show. They become so thirsty to get the OG's validation that, like, it's annoying. Wendy was like this too when she first joined, and she joined in on the Green-Eyed Bandits going in on Monique for attacking Candiace, which we will get into later. Like, just let things play out, observe. You're new here, and don't worry, your time is coming. One thing about these three girls, Giselle, Robin, and Ashley, they will always turn on people. Your time will always come, so don't align with them. So anyway, I'm happy that Wendy stopped Nneka from going in and trying to cover that up and explain for Ashley. Ashley brought this to the platform, so Ashley is responsible for explaining what it is and why she keeps on talking about it. And of course, Ashley was stuck on stupid. She didn't have anything to say. She just wanted to spread nonsense and cause trouble without even doing her proper research. And so that's not the only major issue that she caused. The other issue that she caused was a literal physical altercation by bringing her raggedy, violent friend, Deborah, to the show. Again, knowing that the last time Candiace said no, she didn't want to speak to this woman. And who can blame her? Deborah, for whatever reason, she's married herself, yet for some reason she's obsessed with Candiace's husband to the point where she is making up lies about that man checking her out. She did the same thing to Wendy's husband, Eddie, as well. Just a desperate, weird, like, person who's obsessed with trying to pretend that these men are obsessed with her so that she can get onto the show or whatever. Like, they shut that down. And then Ashley tried to facilitate a conversation between the two of them at last season's finale party. Candiace wasn't having any of it, and she was frustrated, of course, because she wanted that big moment. She didn't get it, so she figured she would do it again this time. And she knew that her friend was amped up because now the whole internet's calling her a delusional muppet and that she could potentially get violent. Like, why was Deborah dressed like that to their party? Right? Like, you're at a fashion party, and you come in leggings and a tank top with your hair in a ponytail. That looks like you're ready for a fight instead. And Ashley knew that, which is why she was desperately asking if the cameras were down. And by the way, why didn't Andy ask her why she was like asking about the cameras being down? Very suspicious, very biased. Of course, we're all aware that a big fight broke out at that finale party. So why is it that these girls always find a way to blame Candiace? Listen, I will admit that when it was Candiace versus Monique, and I still stand by this, I feel like Candiace had that coming because Candiace kept on telling Monique to her face, what are you going to do? Are you going to drag me? Drag me, Monique, drag me. Drag me means hit me. So if you keep telling someone to hit you, don't act surprised when they freaking hit you. You know what I mean? So to me, that one, I don't see Candiace as a victim in it. I feel like she should have had her fists up when she was saying, drag me, drag me, drag me, because don't be surprised if someone listens to what it is that you tell them, okay? But in this instance, Candiace didn't do anything. Deborah went up to her like, oh, like, you were talking about me. Candiace said, get away from me. I don't want to talk to you. And that's the end of it. There was no reason for Deborah to then throw a drink in her face. Why would Deborah be upset with Candiace? Candiace did nothing to Deborah. Candiace didn't go on TV and start making up like all sorts of ridiculous lies about Deborah's husband. Like, what is this anger coming from? Is Deborah just angry that Chris wasn't actually looking at her? He's not interested in her? Is her own husband not enough for her? Like, it's not making sense. She's looking really, really crazy, at this point. And the fact that the co-stars, so I'm talking Giselle, I'm talking Mia, the fact that and Ashley as well, the fact that they can go and say, oh, Candiace's mouth is the one that caused this. What did Candiace say to Deborah other than, I don't want to talk to you? Candiace was having a private conversation with Wendy where maybe she called Deborah certain things, which I don't agree with, but that doesn't mean you go and physically attack the person. You're not in danger. You're a grown woman. You're a mother. You don't just walk around beating people up just because they said something rude about you. How often do people say rude things? All the time. We can't just walk around beating people up as a result of that. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And I feel like by their logic, they all should have gotten their asses whooped a couple of times, especially Giselle, especially Ashley. Those two are like the worst of the cast when it comes to the things that they do. Giselle messes with people's families. Then why doesn't she deserve to get her ass whooped? You know what I mean? She's done so many terrible things to people. So why is it? And I feel like if someone did whoop her or if someone did whoop Ashley, it would be a problem too, and it's just so funny how all of a sudden you can't use your words. Your words will get you hit and you'll deserve it. But when Monique hit Candiace, what did Giselle say? What did Robin say? They said, you cannot just hit people because they say things you don't like. You have to be able to, and Karen said this as well, you have to be able to fight with your words. So here's Candiace fighting with her words, and it's still a problem. And in fact, Candiace wasn't even fighting with her words because she was not fighting Deborah. She was trying to get away from Deborah, and Deborah kept on going towards her, looking to instigate. So the fact that they can blame this on Candiace is ridiculous. And if we're going to talk about words, being the reason why you deserve X, Y, or Z, then Deborah deserved to get hit because who told her to use her words to lie about Chris Bassett, right? Who told her to use her words to lie about Eddie? Should Candiace and Wendy tag team and beat her up now because she's spreading lies? Should they beat up Giselle because she's spreading lies too about Chris Bassett? Like, when does it end? At this point, after all the hoopla they made about the Monique situation and how violence is never the answer, you always have to use your words. Now, all of a sudden, they're here on this platform saying violence is the answer. If someone says something you don't like, beat them up. And we're always going to be behind you, basically. So, this is just proof of what people were saying in the Monique era, which is that Giselle and Robin didn't actually care about Candiace being beaten up. Candiace was just a pawn in their ploy to get rid of Monique. Monique had them shook. Monique had a life that they could only dream of. They were so jealous of that woman. And ever since she told Giselle that she had 4 homes, Giselle has never been able to think straight. She has been foaming at the mouth with rage, jealous rage over this woman. And it's so sad to me that Candiace actually fell for it. That reunion, when Monique was dragging Giselle within an inch of her life, Candiace was her guard dog. Like, no, that's so lame. How could you? Girl, how stupid can you be? We all saw it except you, that you were just a pawn. They didn't actually like you. And this is just an example of that. If they liked Monique, they would have justified it. They would have said what I say, which is you said to drag you and she just dragged you like you told her to, it's just so crazy to me. It really is. The way that their stance on violence has gone a full 180 in the span of just a couple of seasons. It's just insane to me. In fact, they did the same thing to Wendy. Wendy was talking to Mia. She didn't say anything rude. In fact, she said the truth, which is that Mia and Gordon are kind of strange in their marriage. Like they F around with other people. That's the truth. Mia and Gordon have been telling us that. So why is it that merited Mia throwing a drink on Wendy and then hitting her with her purse? These girls, it's just, violence is only okay if they like you, basically, or they'll support you in the violence, and they will say it's okay if they dislike you, aka, and you are the victim, So anyway, speaking of Mia did say that she had a similar experience to Candiace with Deborah at that party. She said that Deborah came up to her all hostile, like, what do you mean? I'm just a 4? I'm a 4, Mia? In reference to the time where Mia was like, listen, Chris is not going to cheat on Candiace with like Deborah. Deborah's not cute. Candiace is cute. And did she lie? I don't know. I don't know. I don't think so. But Deborah took issue with that. So she decided to go and confront Mia. And so Mia, to placate her, said, oh no, you're a 10. We're all beautiful Black queen 10s. And then she says, well, Candiace, you should have done the same so that she didn't hit you. Well, maybe the problem isn't that you need to lie to this woman so she doesn't hit you. Maybe the problem is that this feral woman who just wants to walk around beating you people up shouldn't be around you people. You know, like, what? It's just so crazy to me that even with that, they gloss over it. In fact, why didn't Andy ask any follow-up questions about, like, okay, well, Ashley, now that you see your friend tried it with not one, but two of your co-stars, are you going to do something about it? Do you regret bringing her? Do you feel like she's the one who's responsible and that she was going to attack Candiace regardless of what she said? The amount of time these people spent parsing over Candiace's words and not even like giving a second to parse over Deborah's words that caused all of this. It's Deborah's words that are the reason that we're even in this place, yet they don't care. They just want to attack Candiace, and they want to go through hypothetical situations of what she might have potentially done with the champagne bottle if need be, you know, instead of what actually happened, which is that Deborah threw a drink at her for no reason when her back was turned, and that she smashed glass in Kearna's face and slashed her whole forehead. Like, it was just disgusting the way they handled this, to be honest with you. This is why I don't recap RHOP anymore. It's an evil show. It really is. And it's fronted by very evil, miserable women who lead miserable lives that they don't seem to be satisfied with. And who can blame them, you know? And I'm mainly talking about Giselle, Robin, and Ashley. Those three have been tarred, feathered, humiliated by men who were supposed to love them. You know what I mean? And they're so bitter over that they just want everybody else to be down in the gutter and down in the dumps with them. And I just hate that. I'm so excited for this shakeup. I heard that Robin was leaving, but it's not yet official. I hope that is official. And I would love to see something happen to Giselle or Ashley, either this season or the next season, because the show can't continue like this with these people. It really can't. Honestly, even after watching this, I'm going to take a walk. I feel drained. I do not like this show. I do not like this season. It used to be so good, and that's the sad part. It did go through its very, very dark periods, like when Giselle, Robin, and Ashley, the usual suspects, bullied Karen while her parents were dying. Do you guys remember when they used to harass her about her finances? They went dressed as pizza delivery men to her home to see if she really lived there and stuff. And Karen was going through hell at that time. Like, that's when I first realized, oh, these people, they're not like just for fun on TV. Like, they're really like evil, you know? So anyway, let's go back to Ashley before we wrap up. And I'm sorry, I'm all over the place here, you guys, because I'm kind of riled up. I just watched this part 3 of the reunion, and I'm still so disgusted by the way they treated Candiace here and just gaslit her and everything. And I don't even like Candiace, to be honest with you. I find her to be a rather unlikable person, but even still, I do have this fairness to where I can say, like, wrong is wrong, whether or not I like the person, you know? So speaking of Ashley, let's talk about how she admitted that she hadn't really done anything in life since graduating university, because that's when she got with Michael. And he told her she wanted to do TV reporting. And he told her, no, like, if you work a 9 to 5, you won't be able to travel the world with me. So she decided to just follow this creepy old man around the world. And she didn't do anything after that, right? Like, she had kids with him and that's it. And so it's just so interesting to me that at that time, I think when she was trying to have kids with Michael, and Michael was going through that lawsuit for grabbing, you know, the producer's butt and everything like that, and just all the creepy stuff he was doing, she had the nerve to sit up there on stage and call Candiace the least accomplished out of everybody. What had she done? She hadn't done anything, right? And now when we see Candiace, what happened? Candiace worked in politics. She had a hair extension line. She sings, she acts, she does all kinds of things. She's really working her ass off. So I wonder if Ashley kind of like regrets saying that, because now it's not looking too good for her. And I also do want to take a moment to acknowledge the amount of bravery it took for Gordon to open up about his mental illness and the struggles with it. He's got bipolar. Is it bipolar 1 or bipolar 2? He's got a form of bipolar, and it really has been wreaking havoc on his life for several decades now, but he was only formally diagnosed about 2.5 years ago. And he talks about how Mia has been standing by him and helping him through this, and how this is ultimately what pushed Mia away from him, because when he goes through these episodes, it's really, really difficult to handle and be around him. And then, like, they've got young children, and so I'm sure Mia wanted to shield them from this, which is totally understandable in my opinion. And I just gotta say at this point, though, that I feel like Mia and Ashley's failed gold digging should be a cautionary tale to the young hypergamous girlies out there. I do think it's smart. I do think it's a good idea to to get with people who are on your level or slightly higher or whatever. But when you are trying to go for like an old person who has lived decades before you, decades more than you, and like, has a certain crazy amount of wealth and power that they can use to manipulate you and play you, this kind of often is the outcome. They're always 20 steps ahead of you because they've been around the block, a million times by the time you are born already. Like, look at the way their lives turned out. These women degraded themselves, doing all sorts of sexual acts they didn't even want to do, to marry these deviant old men. And what do they have to show for it? Right? Ashley got played with her prenup and stuff. She was left with nothing but an Uber Eats account. And Mia now has to take care of Gordon financially and mentally for the rest of his life. Like, guys, it's perfectly fine to marry someone within your age and within your tax bracket or slightly higher. But when you go and you try to play these games, there's going to be egg on your face at the end of the day. Like, look at their lives. Like, is that something you envy? Is that something you want for yourself? For me personally, the answer is absolutely hell no. So, Kearna did get to share her side of things about the fight and everything like that. And I really, really like her. I love her spunk. She's got a lot of great energy and I really want to see her back. I heard that she was supposed to be full time, but then like someone kind of blamed the fight on her and that's why she had gotten demoted or something like that, which if it's the case, I hope that like now revisiting the footage and seeing how it was all Deborah's fault and also Ashley's fault, I hope they give her another chance because the audience likes her. We've already seen her now and we want to see more of her. To be honest with you guys, I've been campaigning for Jacqueline to come on too since I saw her dynamic with Mia. I really, really do hope that that's the case as well. Like if we get like a friend of next season, which I'm sure we will, I would love for it to be Kearna or Jacqueline or for Kearna to be full-time or for Jacqueline to be full-time. I really do like those two girls. And I hope to be finally rid of Cherise for good because I can't stand her. Now, lastly, you guys, Giselle to me was not dragged enough for blaming everybody for the fight. She said, oh, it's Kearna's fault, it's Wendy's fault, it's Candiace's fault. But why didn't she blame Ashley, who brought her raggedy, vicious, violent friend around, who's a liar, a pathological liar, a known liar? That is the problem. That is what destroyed your business party. Your business partner likes to cause trouble. And she took it too far this time. This time she didn't know how much of a loose cannon her friend was, or maybe she did. And she thought that this would be better received than it actually wound up being, And Giselle wasn't even there to be talking about it. So I don't even know why she was ultimately asked the question. But I'm happy that Mia stood up for Wendy and said, well, Wendy wasn't like, she was like moving out of the way. What are you even talking about? And Wendy said that too. But, Giselle is so angry at Wendy that she didn't even acknowledge what Wendy was saying. She only acknowledged it when Mia said it, which again is also problematic. But again, guys, I'm so tired of this show. My energy feels drained even talking about it. So I'm probably just going to leave it here. I didn't want to do like a full blown recap. I just wanted to talk like kind of like a general overview about it. But listen, something's got to give next season. It really, truly cannot continue like this. And I feel like the ultimate problem is that they want Giselle to be the face. They want her to be the head of the show, but she is the most divisive out of anybody here. She has the darkest energy out of everybody here. She's the cruelest person here. So if they want the show to take a turn for the better, they're going to need to get rid of their beloved Giselle, and they're just not ready to do that. But it seems as though they're ready to get rid of like one of her like lackeys, which is Robin. And listen, I'm still crossing my fingers that the other one, Ashley, goes or is at least demoted as well, because this isn't it. RHOP used to be so good and it needs to take a turn back to that direction. Anyway, guys, let me know how you felt about the reunion. It was 3 parts, even though it definitely did not need 3 parts. I'm sure it was just for advertising revenue purposes. But do you guys have the same thing I have? Like where you watch the show and you leave feeling so like, I don't want to say triggered. I really don't like that word, but just so angry at the way someone is being treated, right? And just like your energy just feels so heavy afterwards. Like you want to go take a nice walk in the sun to bring your spirits back, because that's the vibe I'm getting. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And as usual, we'll chat. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.